Hello, podcast listener. This is James. Warning about this episode, we encountered a really weird audio issue while we were recording this. So, if you're listening to this episode and the audio quality sounds distorted or choppy, that is not on your end, it is on ours. We don't really know, well, we kind of know what caused it, and hopefully we won't have any issues like this in the future. But anyway, for this episode, please excuse the audio quality. And other than that, enjoy the episode. Here we go. Welcome to the Good Games Podcast. My name is James.
I'm Leo.
And I'm Justin.
Whoa!
Whoa! Hey!
Who are you?
I'm a new guy.
Whoa! You're the new guy?
Yeah, I'm the new guy. Not really, but
I am. Justin is our good friend. We brought Justin on this episode specifically, well, because he's our good friend, but also because we're talking about Zelda. And out of anyone I know on this planet, Justin is the biggest Zelda fan.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I know. Very knowledgeable about these games. And he's also a little bit musically inclined, which is going to help because later in the show, we're going to be talking about the top 5.
I'm literally sitting in front of like a shrine O Zelda, like right behind me. So if that says anything.
Yeah. I think you're basically the closest thing to like a PhD in Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr.
I'll take that.
Zelda.
But yeah, we're talking about the top 5 Zelda soundtracks, which I know Justin's going to be very qualified to talk about.
Yep.
Certainly.
Yep. It's going to be an interesting talk too, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that. But first, we're talking about the Link's Awakening remake that came out last month. What was your guys' first impressions of this remake?
Justin, why don't you take it away?
To be honest, I thought it was great. I love the art style.
Yep.
It's very flashy, very colorful. I mean, like especially from think about where that game came from. You know, you barely had any good sound or good
color.
Like, I mean, it was a great game overall, but like there was no color. You know, so I mean, what this game did really paid a lot of good homage to Link's Awakening. And I thought it was great.
Kind of breathed life into it a bit, though.
Extremely faithful remake, too, because I was like, I wonder all the shit that they're going to change from this game that's now almost 20 years old. No, they didn't change anything. They just, gave it a literal fresh coat of paint and, redid the soundtrack as pretty much it. Like, that, they really didn't change much.
Yeah, like, puzzle-wise, it's great.
Uh-huh.
Like they managed to match the puzzles and match like the layout and everything. So I mean they knocked it out of the park with this one.
I think there's like a couple quality of life changes they did. Like I think, and Justin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the warping works different now because in the other game you had like 4 warp points that you like rotated between or something like that. And then
I don't remember entirely. Because I played the old Link's Awakening so long ago.
Yeah,
like to be honest, there are some elements like that I just did not remember playing this new game. So I'm like, was that in there? I'm not sure. I don't know, but I kind of like it anyways. If it was or wasn't,
that was weird. Yeah, I had the same sort of experience because like I hadn't really revisited this game since the first time I played it, which was
same.
When did this game come out? Like 93, 94 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I probably haven't played it since then, so I had that same weird thing where I was like, I had like a very fuzzy memory of this game. I was like, I think this is the same, but I can't be sure. Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure they changed how the warping works. Like, there's a lot more warp points, and you can warp whenever you want, and
it's
you
a little
can
more
warp
convenient, definitely,
to wherever you want.
Yeah.
Instead of you pick it on a menu instead of like rotating between warp points.
It's still not. It's still not like perfectly convenient though. It's still
because the map isn't that big anyways. So you don't want to make it way too convenient. You still want them to. You still want the player to trek around a bit.
Work a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. I think they struck the right balance of warp points and convenience. Like there weren't so many where like you were never having to traverse the map at all, but there were few enough where like it was convenient to warp if you needed to go across the map.
On the topic of things that were the same or not and how we overall felt about the game, I don't really remember my first run through of Link's Awakening. Like I think I definitely have played more of this Link's Awakening than the original probably at this point. I don't know, I'm only about halfway through, but did you guys how did you guys feel about the overall difficulty of the game?
This
game, I honestly, I personally feel like, and just Link's Awakening in general, it was more of a puzzle challenging game than it was like a fight your way through things kind of game. As like kind of some of the Zeldas were, like some of the Zeldas, the puzzles are kind of they're kind of weak. It's the standard like find a key, go to that room, find a key there, go back and backtrack a little. This one was more of you kind of had to figure out what you need to do, and that's what I like about it. So I like it in that perspective of difficulty.
I don't know, man. I feel like I just felt like it's very handholdy and like
really?
I found this game to be incredibly simple and not like challenging, and so
but to me
it's not necessarily bad because I think it's a great game in a lot of ways, but like every puzzle felt really simple and easy, and I just breezed through every dungeon, and then like the owl comes and tells you exactly what to do next. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just
not entirely. There are certain elements you have to kind of figure out yourself.
Yeah, a little bit
too, unless you go to the phone booth and
and the phone booth is there too to like push you along.
But that's optional. You don't have to do that. You can be like, no, I'm not gonna.
I guess I don't know. I just felt like overall, and I think it's fine because I think this game is, especially with the art sound stuff, is particularly catered towards a younger audience. And that's great for the game and for the genre and for the brand. But I just felt like as I was playing, I was like, am I like too old for this game now? Like,
I had almost the exact opposite.
Really?
Because I was playing this and because like early in the game they tell you to go into the forest. I think
there's a few confusing parts with like what to do next, like in between dungeons and like what part of the overall world to go to.
I will admit I completely forgot about the bush that you're supposed to cut, and I was searching on how to get to the animal town.
I cut it randomly
so long.
I cut it that was the thing. Accident.
Yes, I got stuck on the fucking animal town. I could not find it. I had to look. I
was like, am I supposed to hook shot? Am I supposed to jump? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
I was trying to jump, and then I just randomly slashed the bush. And I was like, oh, there's stairs there. Like,
but
I also just randomly cut bushes
too.
It is. It's kind of by itself. It's kind of random. But I just cut every bush I see anyway, so maybe that's part of my problem. Is like I'm like lawnmower. Lawnmower simulator.
You gravitate towards like cutting. Yeah, you gravitate towards cutting all the bushes, like all the big like areas of bushes, not that one single one sitting by a tree. So
maybe that's fair.
Yeah.
But there was moments like that where I was like, wow, this is like some old school game design where they really don't tell you what you should be doing. Because there's moments like that and moments like the beginning where they just tell you to go into the forest. Specifically what you're going to do, and this is, I guess, a spoiler if you've never played Link's Awakening, you have to go into the forest, you find this raccoon who makes you lost no matter what happens. He always makes you lost. What you have to do is go find this witch's hut to get magic powder, and you're supposed to sprinkle the magic powder on the raccoon, right? But the game doesn't tell you any of that. It just
doesn't
says
tell you that at all. Yeah.
Go in the forest, and you're like, oh, okay.
And then you pretty much you have to figure it out.
Yeah, but the raccoon tells you.
Does he?
No, he doesn't. He just tells you, I'm gonna fuck with you and get you lost in the woods.
No, if you talk to the raccoon before you walk past the raccoon, he says, I have an exquisite sense of smell, and any kind of smell like really affects me. And then you go to the witch, and she's like, if you gave me a toad thing, I would give you this potion, that whatever. And I'm like, okay, obviously I'm supposed to make this potion and throw it at the raccoon. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe I'm just savant.
And
I don't know.
That's the connection you're supposed to make. But like the game is not very explicit about that. Whereas if I feel like if this game were made today, like either that puzzle wouldn't exist or like a modern. I don't want to say a modern Zelda game because Breath of the Wild is very, very not.
Oh yeah, definitely
hand-holdy at all.
yeah.
But no, like if you were playing like I don't know like Skyward Sword, there would be like 8 tutorials on like oh get the magic powder and be sure to sprinkle it near the raccoon. Like
okay, I'll say this much.
Also remember to replace the batteries.
I think that the game's mechanic of getting to the next section of the map is probably more challenging than every single dungeon I've been in so far. Is that fair to say?
Okay. Yeah, it's fair only in that the game doesn't like it just gives you a hint. Like every time you beat a dungeon, it's like, oh, the desert. You should go to the desert, and then that's all you get. Like sometimes the owl shows up, and the owl gives you some direction. But like other than that, the game's kind of hands off unless you go to like the phone booth.
I would admit though the first few dungeons are pretty simple, and some enemies are very easy to beat if you know how to beat them, which unfortunately, because I'm sure most of us played the game before we knew exactly what like weapons to use against them. Where like before, like I remember when I initially played the game, you had no idea initially, because even like the bosses were like the one in general that I remember was the face on the floor. Like as a kid, I had no idea how the hell you were supposed to defeat it. Then I later found out you're supposed to use bombs, and of course this run around, I used bombs and I was able to kill it within like 5 seconds.
Yeah, to that point, I feel like the early dungeons were easier than the later. Like I got stuck a couple times in some of the later dungeons.
Yeah, the later dungeons are definitely difficult. I'll second that.
Well,
so yeah,
I don't have any experience with the later dungeons to say much, but I'll get to them.
You only made it about halfway through, right?
Yeah, about halfway. I just finished like the water dungeon.
Okay, it should start ramping up from there, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the music?
Oh, fantastic! I love this music.
Yeah, that was good.
I love the fact that they took. I'm going to say this outright: the shitty dungeon music that was in the original game, and like actually gave each individual dungeon its own music. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, there's all the remix of all the songs are just fantastic.
Yeah, same. Soundtrack was very, very good, and yeah, to your point about the dungeon music, because like in original Link's Awakening, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. Just
it's plain, and there's long, awkward like silences.
Yeah,
it's just the ba da 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 da.
Yeah, that's smart.
Like it's just like weird.
Yeah.
So it's.
I will say though, I was overall very impressed with the soundtrack. One of my favorite tracks is the Woods theme.
That plays when you're.
Oh fuck! I can't even remember how it goes right now.
Well, interject a clip of it
I can't
right
think
here.
Of it either.
Yeah. Wait, is that the do 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 do? Is that right?
Sounds familiar, but I don't know if it was the Woods. Hold on, I got this, guys.
No, I don't think the Wood. I don't think it was the Woods.
How does the Woods go? Anyway, it's my favorite track.
Now I can't even remember. I'm supposed to be the pro.
The Woods is my favorite track in Link's Awakening, and it sounds kind of weird in the remake. That was like the only track I wasn't impressed with, which is unfortunate because it's like my favorite track.
All right, I got it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like this weird. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Wasn't impressed with that one in the remake, but the rest of it was very good.
Oh yeah, like all the house music, the town, like Meryl singing. The dungeons were all great. I loved all the dungeon remixes and how they implemented the shitty theme into the dungeon themes, but they were still
switched
their own
it a
thing.
little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about like who made the soundtrack or anything? Like I was impressed just with the overall style.
I know it wasn't Koji Kondo originally, and I know.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me look up the credits for who did the soundtrack on the remake.
Yeah, I remember. I looked it up like when I was playing it. I don't remember, but yeah, I know Koji wasn't involved with it.
I just feel like it's a very like kind of modern style. I was a big fan. Like I could definitely just listen to the soundtrack at work or something and be really content.
Yeah, a lot of the music.
So Ryu or Rio, I guess is Ryo Rio Nagamatsu is responsible for the remake soundtrack. So good job, Rio Nagamatsu.
Rio Nagamatsu.
Yeah, man.
Kudos to you.
Because these were the same developers that did what was it, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D, right?
That's right. Yeah.
They do a pretty good job because I think they also remastered some of the music in those games as well. So I mean, they do a good job at it.
Yep. I will say, I think Leo, you and I did. I don't know how we did three. We did two. We did 2 Zelda episodes without Justin. I don't know why we were trying to do that. But
I listened to those too.
We previously discussed the Majora's Mask and the Majora's Mask remake, and I had a couple of gripes about the remake. But overall, they did a very good job.
Yeah.
So one thing I was disappointed with on the remake was the one big change they did make was they added a dungeon builder. It's just kind of hot shit, though. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's not good.
I played with it. I did some of the basic stuff Dompe gives you, and then I was just like, okay, that's a thing. I'm done.
I walked into the shack, and he was like, "Here, I have something to tell you." And then as soon as I realized what it was, I walked out, and I said, "I will never walk in there again."
Because Mario Maker is so much fucking fun, and it's always like, oh man, what if they did like a Zelda Dungeon Maker? But the way this works is all it is it's rooms in dungeons that you've previously beaten, and it's all on like a template. It's like pre-made rooms, and you can just organize the location of the rooms.
Yeah,
and that's
which in itself is kind of it's. That in itself is kind of crap, and then just it doesn't blend well when you do that, and it's not good.
It's less of a level maker and more of a room organizer.
Yes,
it's about as boring as you'd think.
But of course, they make it mandatory because I think they made one of the shells. If you wanted to collect all the shells, I think you have to get through at least some like the third part of his tutorial.
That was another thing. I whenever I got to that section that said, "Hey, if you collect all these shells and step on this thing, you're going to get this really cool sword." I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll look for these shells." One time, I found a shell in a bush in a corner of the entire map randomly as I was cutting grass, and I found a shell, and I was like, if this is how shells are found, I am not interested. I will not get that slide.
If you get, I think about halfway, you get a dingy tool. So when you're close to it, it'll ding when you're close to a shell. And
I think that's one of the first things you get at 10 or 15 shells. You get the shell finder.
Gotcha.
And I think that is another one of the changes they made is they added a lot more seashells, right? I think.
I think so.
Just randomly acquire them.
There was definitely more. I felt like there was a lot more than what I remember. I think
they added seashells. And I can't remember what the fuck was there at Dompe's Shack originally, because obviously Dompe's Shack wasn't in the original game.
Maybe nothing?
I don't remember.
Just
unless it was just a big open field, maybe?
Yeah.
I remember that shack being there, though, but it wasn't Dompe's Shack. I can't remember.
Unless maybe it was a phone booth? Did they sacrifice a phone booth,
maybe it was a phone booth they converted.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway.
I'd have to look back.
What did you guys think of the story?
Oh, I like the story. I like the whole, where they're telling you, if you're really liking it here, what you're doing right now is gonna make all this go away, and you're gonna be all upset and wah. And all the nightmares keep telling you that every time you beat them. So I think that's pretty. Yeah, I love that whole.
Which I forgot the weird sad twist of this game.
Kind of Undertale.
Oh yeah, because
because also the bosses keep taunting you every time you beat them. It's like Justin said, you don't realize what you're doing here. All your friends will disappear forever, and everyone's gonna die. They're not wrong, is the thing. I guess that's a big spoiler.
It's kind of a bittersweet thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very bittersweet ending. So huge spoilers for Link's Awakening. Yeah, the whole thing is kind of a weird dream that Link is having, and when he wakes up the Windfish, he literally wakes up in real life and realizes that like all the friends he made in the world of on Koholint Island or whatever it's called, like all of his friends were just a dream. Like it's all gone.
It's kind of Alice.
But don't worry, they're in the Windfish's memory. Remember, and he will remember them forever.
That's true. I forgot. He'll remember them forever.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's like how the ending goes.
Yeah, but yeah, very bittersweet ending. I was like, oh wow, like that's I forgot about that, and B, I feel like that's another thing. If this game were made today, I don't think that ending would be as whatever.
Right. It is a weird enough game, but I do like how they're trying to appeal like to the younger audience to play it but it's also like kind of just really weird, and like they're gonna be like, why is he in a dream and why is he doing all this? And so I'd like to like actually see how like the younger generation now playing it, versus like someone like us who see these weird Zelda twists.
Can I ask you guys something? I don't remember this as much in the original, but maybe it's just because it's been so long. But was like all of the Mario stuff in there as prevalently?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
Yeah. Are you? I actually like. Yeah, I try to like say that's part of the dream is that there's random Mario characters, which isn't correct for the Zelda.
I'm like not really a big fan of that for whatever reason. I don't know. I just felt like Zelda definitely probably would have started that way because it's part of the Nintendo universe. But I feel like now it's kind of more of its own thing and doesn't really rely on the Mario brand at all. And I like that. And I forgot just how much like Mario-y like Mario is like literally in this game. Did you guys notice that?
Oh yeah, no. You have to collect Mario characters through the crane machine.
Yeah,
and there's Goombas.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive that's one of the changes they made. There weren't as many stuffed animals in the original. I don't think there was definitely a Yoshi doll, and there was like Goombas. There was Goombas in the cave. Obviously, the Bow Wow, the Chain Chomp was there.
Yeah,
and I think some of the piranha plants in the 2D sections were there. But they added a lot of stuffed animals from the Mario series, and I'm pretty sure most of those are new to the remake.
I feel like Zelda's gone more towards like this medieval fantasy style that is almost more Final Fantasy-like, and it has like this kind of theme that each Zelda kind of follows, and less of this sort of gimmicky, like... I'm having a dream, so like I'm seeing characters that don't make sense in this world, sort of a thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was cute. It's fine. It's a style. Like
I think it's fine. To be cute. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
It's fine. Like it's not bad. I'm just saying I like that Zelda progressed from that into what it is today.
Like, I do and I don't. Definitely. Like I do and I don't, because like this was definitely made before The Legend of Zelda. Like the series had a strong sense of identity.
Exactly. That's the good way to put it. Yeah.
But at the same time, that's something that I feel like the modern Zeldas are missing. Like there is there's a weird factor to Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, like especially strong in like Majora's Mask.
I agree with that.
There is a weird factor that modern Zeldas don't have anymore.
Yes, no, that's true. But I don't think that has to do so much with the characters as much as it is.
Yeah, they've replaced weird with goofy. And they're not the same thing. Like, because, like, new Zelda games have, like, goofy characters, but they're not really the same as the weird characters from the older games.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that. I don't know. I feel like there's always been, like, a trope with throwing random Mario things into Zelda games, because you got it in Link to the Past. There's, in almost all the houses, there's a portrait of Mario on the wall.
Yeah,
and in Ocarina of Time, when you're when you meet Zelda, if you look in the windows, there's obviously all the all the art from Mario 64. So I don't know. I feel like it was just kind of a thing they just started to do after Link to the Past.
They kind of grew out of that though.
Right?
Like, yeah, which is kind of sad.
There's no references to Mario in the modern Zelda games. Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Like I just feel like leave it to Easter eggs, maybe.
Which is more how it was in Ocarina of Time, but like the modern Zelda games have no references at all.
No, it's fine. I think it's okay to take it back a step and have some references in the form of hidden references. I think I'm fine with that. But
right.
But as far as the basic gameplay, like Zelda Breath of the Wild style, like I'm happy with that. Like More power.
You don't
to
want Goombas in Breath of the Wild?
No, I think I'm good. I think I don't. I want segregation of Mario and Zelda. That's really what I'm after.
Okay. All right.
Call me traditional.
I can understand that. Just make it little appearances, but not actual characters you have to.
And and having said that, I'm like to James's point, I still want the weird. Like I'm definitely feeling like we're moving a little too far away from the weirdness of Zelda, which is
I want that.
Part
I
of the
want
appeal.
that so bad in Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh yeah, if we can get like a weird Majora's Masky Breath of the Wild, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I want it to be twisty as hell. I want it to be dark. I want it to just like
tumbling down the rabbit hole.
I want it to be like you start to hate other people versus like it's like I want it to be like Ganondorf is actually like the innocent one in all this and he's been like
Ganondorf is your father.
Yeah. The whole time, Link. He's been your father.
No.
That's not true.
For some reason,
Jesus. Anything else on Link's Awakening remake?
I actually wanted to see. Would you? I'm not sure how much you have played, Leo. Have you played Seasons and Ages?
I played Seasons.
So my question is: would you like to see those games in this kind of art style, or remade almost to this type of game?
I think it would be interesting.
It's weird because I have equally not revisited Seasons and Ages since they came out, and I feel like I had more. I can't explain this, but I feel like I had more nostalgia for Link's Awakening, even though I only played that game like once, and I played it like those games weren't that far apart. Link's Awakening and Seasons and Ages. I feel like for some reason Seasons and Ages aren't going to hold up as well as Link's Awakening, and that's completely unsubstantiated. Like I can't back that up, but I feel like for some reason that's just not going to hold up as well.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying because there's probably more of a fan base for Link's Awakening than there are for Seasons and Ages.
Yeah. And I don't know if that has to because those were Capcom games, right?
Yes, they were.
I don't know. I that would be interesting though to see if we get any more older game remakes because obviously
I wouldn't mind if they tried that, but I can see that like they may not do it because it may not be a huge selling point trying to push a remake of Seasons and Ages. But I mean, like I would love to see that. I would love to see because those two games I personally felt had that kind of darkness to it, where like the Twin Rova were in the game in both games, and they were like trying to light like what was it, the candle of misery or something of despair or something like that.
Nice
I don't remember
dark.
entirely.
Right how it should be.
So like there was a weird darkness to all that. I would also love for them because if I remember correctly, there were supposed to be 3 of those games. It was going to be Power, Wisdom, Courage, and they ended up having to trash Courage because they wanted to do the 3-game tie, and that was going to be too complicated trying to get the 3 games to sync with one another. It was easier to do 2, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be kind of cool if they like, I don't know, like re-explored doing the 3 again,
or maybe even make the 3rd one. 15 years later, have the 3rd game or however long it's been.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I don't know what the hell they would call it, like Oracle of, I don't know, Courage or something. I don't know what I tried to think of this the other day. What would be a good name for that? And I can't think of anything.
Oracle of Courage, yeah. Well, that's good. Anything else with the remake before we go on to our top 5?
It's good.
No,
it is good.
I like it. 10 out of 10. I like it.
Very good remake. Very good remake.
It was good.
Surprisingly faithful remake.
Yeah,
I was shocked at how little changed.
They kept it safe. If I had any cons about the game, and I think me and you discussed this before, James, is that the animations are weirdly floaty. Where like when Link jumps, it doesn't feel like a genuine like jump off the ground because he does this awkward flip.
Jump. God, the jump is
that's so weird because Justin was describing this to me and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but apparently you had the same feeling, Leo.
Oh, it's the worst jump I've ever experienced in a video game.
Are you talking? Okay, wait. Are you talking about when the camera's top down or when the camera's from the side?
From the side, it's especially bad.
Oh, well, see, like from the side, for me, it's okay. It's still a little bit awkward.
No, it's weird because
for me, top down, it's weird.
It has like this weird sort of like curvature to it, like mathematically, where it's like it starts out not as much velocity and then it peaks out.
Yeah, it's the liftoff that like always gets me, because I'm not entirely sure of like
how much height you'll have when
up.
Yeah,
and then half the time I like missed the jump and I like hit the hole just slightly off to where I slipped into it and fell.
It is a little awkward. That's all I gotta say. The jump is a little awkward.
I think some of that is being faithful to the original, because I remember
probably that's what I
remember, especially in the when the camera's on the side. So in Link's Awakening, the camera switches from top down to like a side view, like a platformer view when you go underground. Anyway, and I remember in that platformer side view camera, I remember the jumping in the original to be kind of wonky. But I don't feel that when the camera's top down for some reason. I don't know. If both of you guys are describing the same thing, it must be a thing, but I don't know. I just didn't feel it or notice it.
Like majority of the game, did you play handheld or did you play on TV?
I played 100% of the game on TV.
Okay, so I'm wondering if maybe that was the difference.
I played 100% handheld.
Maybe because handheld. Yeah, I mainly played it handheld.
Well, we've experienced
input delay or something.
Yeah, we've experienced this before. I forget which game it was, but when I played it on Switch and James played it somewhere else, and I had Switch specific issues. But I mean, it affects.
I don't
the entire
know if maybe
game.
maybe it's just the smaller screen too. Maybe just something about that. Just
I don't know. Anyway,
maybe the game responds better when it's charging.
I would say that was probably my biggest complaint as well. Yeah, I would agree with you there.
I mean, overall, okay, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Drop it down a point, 9.5 or something. Fair. I don't know.
Cool.
I'll give it a great remake out of yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. James gives it a yes.
A yes out of great remake.
All right.
All right. So our top 5 for this episode is top 5 Zelda soundtracks. Yes. Should we let the guest of honor?
I feel like we should. Yeah.
Yeah. Justin, what's your number 5 soundtrack? Well, okay. Wait. So hang on. Because in traditionally what this podcast has done is we each go around, we count down, here's your 5, here's my 5, here's Leo's 5, whatever, and then we go 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, right.
In recent episodes, we've been just throwing everything out at once, and then the three of us have to all
choose
agree.
Right.
Yeah, we all have to.
Okay.
Yeah, we all have to cooperate to collaboratively come up with our top 5 together.
Yes.
So do we want to do individual or collaborative?
I think collaborative.
All right, let's do it. Yeah. All right.
But just start with a couple options, Justin. I mean, you can just do a couple at a time, or
nominate some
nominations.
Some
give us your nominations.
Okay, so what would I give you? Like the top 5,
sure.
My 5?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll start off with. Do I just name them out, or do I need to explain, or how do you want to do that? Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes to whatever. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start off controversial with the first one.
Okay.
My number 5.
I wonder if your 5 and my 5 are the same, because I was also going to do a controversial 5.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's just a great soundtrack.
It's a
shite game, Skyward Sword.
Oh no, that's not what my 5 was. That's not what my 5 was.
I love Skyward Sword's soundtrack.
Oh.
Because I think it was the first live orchestral soundtrack that we got. And I honestly feel like they spent a lot of time making that music really well. And I know half the game's like live orchestral, the other half is, like obviously like done in like a program. But nonetheless, like they spent a lot of time, I feel like. But it's at my number 5, and I feel like now that I'm coming accustomed to the Link's Awakening soundtrack, the new one, that it's gonna probably knock Skyward Sword back a rank. But I decided to put Skyward Sword there because I still enjoy that soundtrack. Because like all the themes of the characters they just fit the characters well, and I just loved that orchestral thing that they brought to the game. The game, not so much. Like, fuck that game. Fuck the gameplay of the entire game.
I'm gonna champion Skyward Sword. Everyone hates that game. I thought that game was okay. It was fine. So that game takes a lot of flack, probably rightfully so. But for some weird reason, I thought that game was not as bad as everyone else said. I think that game's just kind of average.
My thing with the game is just motion controls. Just fuck the motion controls. I can't take those. Yeah, but everything else, art style, music, everything else was fine.
Yeah, I don't know on the music though. You really like the soundtrack?
Yeah, I mean, like this was number 5 was a hard one, and I kept like changing it back and forth. But I feel like with some of the soundtracks, I always tend to go back to Skyward Sword myself.
Okay.
Just because I just like, I don't know, the music's just, I guess the way to put it, it's nice. You got nice music, like Zelda, like the whole theme around Zelda, and like the theme around like when you get your bird back and your Skyloft bird or whatever, and like the town music is like so nice. It's just all nice. Like there are some songs though in it that I don't like. I don't like the desert.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Yeah. There's a section. Literally the section that
where they just keep recycling the same goddamn song for every section you do, and it's just a repetitive, dumb, dinky song, and I hate it. I hate it.
Oh, it was so grating.
Yeah. And they have like if you ever go and like listen to like the soundtrack, they literally have 20 different versions of that same fucking song.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, some of the dungeon themes are just kind of like wow. Like
dungeon themes are not the strongest.
Right.
You're right though. Some of the character themes are really good, and I like what they did with like Zelda's Lullaby inverted. Like that was clever.
But best theme from that game, Groose. Hands down.
Yes. Yeah.
Trombone all up in your face. I want Groose.
Yeah. Great character theme. Very good character.
Yeah, because it fits him so well.
Yeah. You're bringing me around on Skyward Sword. Should I throw out one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out. Here's my controversial one. This is my number 5. It's not even a mainline Zelda game, and it doesn't even really have that much original music. It just has remixes. This year's Cadence of Hyrule.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I really liked some of the remixes in Cadence of Hyrule. Really? So that was Danny Brananowski, who did Super Meat Boy, and also God, what's the original? Crypto the Necrodancer.
Yeah.
Cadence of Hyrule. I thought his Gerudo Valley. Just the instrumentation for his Gerudo Valley, especially because there's several versions of it. There's like one when you're fighting enemies, and one when there's no enemies on screen.
Yeah, like the very like kind of quiet one.
Yeah, I really like his quiet one with the like Western guitar. That was super good. And I like there's like a very jazzy version of the Song of Storms. There's like it's like a swing jazz kind of.
That sounds awesome. I haven't heard these remixes. I'm gonna have to go listen to the soundtrack.
Shit, dude.
Just listen to the soundtrack. It's great.
And
oh my god, I love that game's music.
Yeah.
Maybe the most brilliant one of all is just the Overworld theme, which just mixes together a bunch of the Overworld music from several Zelda games. So
I know what I'm listening to tonight.
It's Link's Awakenings, Tal Heights, Ocarina of Time, the Hyrule Field theme, the Great Sea from Wind Waker are all mixed together.
Yeah.
It's very good. Very good. That was my number 5, Crypt of the Necro. Fuck off, that's not what it's called. Cadence of Hyrule.
Crypt of the Necro Link.
Crypt of the Necro Link is mine. So anyway, so those two are nominated. What else do we want to nominate?
I'd like to nominate the game we just talked about for half an hour, Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah.
I feel like the remake in particular had like a really strong soundtrack. I was a big fan of just the style of music. That was my number 5-ish, but definitely felt like it should be considered.
That's kind of where I was playing the Switch Up game with Skyward Sword and the new game, and it's like I feel like let me get more accustomed to Link's Awakening's like music. Maybe, just maybe, I think it might beat it out, it probably is going to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the classics are in there too. I'm just gonna go ahead and nominate Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild. Okay, let's talk about Breath of... Yes, on the N64 Zelda's kind of obviously.
Yes. That's obvious, right? Wind Waker.
Let's talk about Breath of the Wild, because that's not on my list.
Really?
It's not, and And I really like what they did with the soundtrack for Breath of the Wild. It's not as
it's not like Zelda-y.
It's not. It's not as in your face or like has a bunch of
which I think we talked
not,
about that, right?
Yeah. It's not these like big bombastic hero themes that are present in a lot of the other. It's just a very, very subdued, almost in the background, just like soft piano music.
But here's the thing: I went back and listened to the actual, I just listened to the soundtrack instead of just playing the game. And while that's all true, we talked all about that in our very first episode. It's a great soundtrack to listen to. It's
like,
just,
especially if you're like just sitting and working.
It is just like, it's like orchestral. It's just like oomph and
just little piano riffs now and again.
Little
like that.
diddly,
it's just
diddly
like it's relaxing.
Yeah,
I like that, and I think that's the correct choice for Breath of the Wild. Like the soundtrack fits that game so perfectly.
Yeah, because like imagine if they had actual like theming music over the overworld, that would have just taken away from it.
So tired. No,
so that's
that was
the thing,
absolutely the correct choice.
I just think as a soundtrack, like compared to other Zeldas, it's a very different sound, but like it is just a well-rounded, solid, just expensive sounding soundtrack. So that's why I definitely get where you're coming from though.
I do like Lurelin Village from Breath of the Wild. The like steel drums and the like, it's like there's like a wind instrument. I don't know what it is. It's some sort of wind instrument and like steel drums and like this very relaxing like island theme.
All right, look, top 3 is obviously Ocarina, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, right?
I don't disagree. We're not
going to throw a link to the. We're not going to throw a link to the past in there.
I think if you want to start talking about 4, you could.
4 for me would be Link to the Past.
Make your case, Justin. Make your case.
Okay. Well, number 4 for me was Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Only because the music in the game was good, but it was. I felt like there wasn't a lot of it. So it's more of just like, it was like a background music thing. My number 3 was Ocarina of Time. That one's obviously on there. Okay. But my number 2, my number 2 is Link to the Past.
Really?
Because
pretty high
that
for
was
Link to the Past.
all that music, especially if you like, I go back to like how that console, like that time and what we would get as a game then. And when I was a kid, I loved all that music. Kakariko Village, the overworld theme.
It is pretty classic, iconic.
Think of how many times that music has now become like the standard template from which all other Zelda games copy music.
This is true.
Yeah, it's like pretty much half of Ocarina of Time is Link to the Past.
That's true. That's a very good point.
But
my personal number 1, Majora's Mask.
That's so funny because I always say that,
I think 1 and 2 are interchangeable for me. OT or Majora's Mask.
I always used to say like, Majora's Mask is my favorite soundtrack, and that's kind of cheating because Majora's Mask literally recycles so much stuff from Ocarina of Time.
But like, if you think about all the individual music.
Yes, exactly. Like I fucking love the Deku Palace theme, the bum ba da dum bum ba da da da. That's fucking good. Clock Town. Are you shitting me?
Yeah. So it's almost like
Stone
taking
Temple
the best
Tower.
Soundtrack of Ocarina of Time and then just like adding to it a little more. So it kind of makes sense.
It's like
number 1.
they had the opportunity is that like, okay, we know how to really work with the instruments now. Let's really work with the instruments in this one and makes
Yeah.
And I feel
they got more creative.
They really tackle getting the feeling of an area versus it being like a schlocky little theme that goes that goes on top of something. They managed to tackle like when you enter an area, like when you're in the swamp, you get that like kind of infectious poison kind of feeling from when you're in Iconic Canyon, you get like a theme of death. Even though it's the same theme, it's like changed in a way to where like the game really encompasses like a very like feeling in the music, like with the 3-day clock town music.
Well, feeling is a good word. I feel like Majora's Mask has a little bit more feeling in its melodies and stuff than Ocarina of Time. It's a more somber game in a lot of ways, and so they just touch on those feelings a little bit more.
That's another thing. That's another thing I feel is missing from modern Zelda games. Even Breath of the Wild is like go back and listen to like even like the Ocarina of Time dungeon themes are so like they're distinct and also like extremely atmospheric and like ambient.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I like
still,
that about
but still so distinct. Like the Water Temple sounds completely different than the Shadow Temple, completely different than the Forest Temple, than the Spirit Temple. But also all those tracks like perfectly capture the mood of those dungeons.
Yeah,
which like modern Zelda games don't have that. Like all of the Divine Beast themes in Breath of the Wild kind of sound the same, kind of.
Yeah,
and like we just got done saying for Skyward Sword, like the dungeon themes are kind of shit. Like, I miss old dungeon themes.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point. That's a good point. Well, you guys convinced me that Majora's Mask should be number 1.
Okay, all right,
yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
what's number 2?
Nice.
What's number 2?
I feel like you have to say Ocarina of Time. I mean, that's where Majora's Mask is getting most of its.
I would agree with that. That's fine.
But I think that then I could move up Link to the Past to number 3.
Over Wind Waker.
Over Wind Waker.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'll live with that. I'll live with that. With that.
But then you got to go for Wind Waker is just an iconic sound. I mean, come on, like, that is.
I like the music from Wind Waker, but my only thing is with Wind Waker, like I don't know if like the instrumentation was like was what I could get into. Like I felt like I felt like the instruments of the music didn't really give the music like I love the ocean theme, but
obviously.
Like I often sometimes felt some of the songs were a little bit dry. I don't know. That's just like I guess that's the music man in me. Just I don't know. Like sometimes it was like some of the themes were just kind of like I don't know. I felt like this needs to have a little bit more reverb. Dragon Roost Island, like that gets played too much, and that gets annoying after a while.
What? No, I love that song. Come on.
I love the song, but like, goddamn, does it not? It's like me with Gerudo Valley. Like, I like Gerudo Valley a lot, but after a while, it can kind of get to you, and you'll be like, all right, I've heard enough of that. I don't know. That's just me.
Okay.
I don't know. I like the title theme though. The ba ba ba.
Oh yeah. No, that's a great thing.
The Outset Island. Bop 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 bop.
Yeah.
Can I just get a clip at the end of this episode of everyone doing little like musical noises? My little.
There's so much good shit in the Wind Waker. All right, can we put that at number 4, or are you trying to put that down lower?
No, I could agree with that being number 4. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
All right.
So number 5 is number 5 is going to be contentious. Because
I'm willing to dump Skyward Sword entirely, so don't worry about that.
I was going to say somebody had Link's Awakening. I had Cadence of Hyrule. Justin had Breath of the Wild in there. Or wait, no, we haven't put Breath of the Wild anywhere yet, right?
No, we didn't.
No, because honestly, like Breath of the Wild could have been my number 5 as well. That was one of my toss-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if Justin is dumping Skyward Sword, then I think 5 is contentious between Breath of the Wild, what is it, Cadence? And
Cadence of Hyrule,
and Link's Awakening.
Well, Cadence is arguably like, do you want to go with it being a actual Zelda game, or are we going to go with the third-party Zelda games? Like, that's the controversy James spoke of.
Yeah. James
so,
special.
like, where are we drawing the line?
Yeah, that's what I'm
because,
trying to say. It's like, where do we draw the line?
Because, like, if we say this is a third-party Zelda game,
I mean, technically, Capcom
are we also,
games, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we then DQ Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages? Because those weren't Nintendo.
No Minish Cap.
Yeah, no Minish Cap. That's right. No Minish Cap either. Although, Minish Cap soundtrack, I don't think anyone's gonna stick up for them.
Minish Cap was just 3DS versions of like Ocarina of Time songs and Four Sword songs and Link to the Past songs.
I'm okay with not really censoring any game option. I just don't know if it stands up the test of the top 5. I mean, you gotta think about that, man.
Right. There's a couple good tracks in Minish Cap, but no. So what is this Cadence of Hyrule? Is this Breath of the Wild? Is this Link's Awakening? Where are we going here?
Oof. That's tough.
I mean, if Breath of the Wild was both in me and Ryanman's top 5, it's got to be for a reason, right?
That's true. It was in both of your top 5. I'm fine with putting Breath of the Wild there.
Yeah,
it's different. I get that it's very different, and that's why I would like it being at the bottom of the top 5 because it's not your traditional, really iconic, tracks as we're talking about.
It's just not. It's not in your face, but it's a perfect fit for that game.
It is a good soundtrack. Like it is high quality.
Mm-hmm. I'm even a fan of the DLC stuff. Like I love the music that came with the when you fight.
You can just listen to that, dude, like on repeat for hours. Like, it's incredible.
All right, so there we go. There you have it. Number 1 was Majora's Mask. Number 2 was Ocarina of Time. Number 3, Link to the Past. Number 4 was Wind Waker, and number 5 was Breath of the Wild.
I think we did well, guys.
Yeah, I like this list.
Yeah,
definitive top 5 Zelda soundtracks.
That is strong.
You heard it there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to endorsements. So Justin, this
I don't know if we told them.
Usually the part of the podcast where it becomes a little more freeform and we just talk about literally anything that we've been watching, playing, reading.
I know what to talk about.
All right.
In recent news. I'm sure you guys know about it. We just got the new Sonic the Hedgehog. Speaking of remakes, we got the whole new remake on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to talk about
For those of you who don't know, Justin actually did a double doctorate major in Zelda and Sonic. So he is equally has a PhD in Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's like Sonic's like a second major.
It's like a minor. Yeah,
like a minor. I don't really care about it. I just have it so I can say I have it, but I'm not like that proud of it.
Right.
Call me Dr. Sonic Zelda.
Dr. Zelda specialized in Sonic. I think it's kind of incredible because when that first trailer came out for the Sonic movie, people just shit all over it, and for good reason.
Oh yeah, definitely.
God awful. But now there's
a part of me. The part of me that loves bad movies like The Room, Birdemic, like shit like that,
wants to see it happen.
There's a part of me that is really mourning for the version of this movie that is now lost forever. That we're not going to have a version of this movie with that horrifying Sonic in it.
I mean, like
maybe in the bonus.
I'm kind of sad about that. I'm not going to lie.
You don't want small mouth, big teeth Sonic? Tiny eyes?
I
was
want
disturbing,
that.
Man.
It was like everything the opposite of Sonic.
It looked fucking awful, and I want it.
God, I just don't think I could physically watch that movie without gagging. Like it was just a little too weird for me.
Oh my God!
But I think it's a pretty incredible story that they were able to like literally take that feedback, treat it constructively and redesign it. And it actually looks good now. And I went complete 180. I'm like.
Okay.
It looks terrible. I can't sit through that. There's no way to hell, I'll go to the theaters and watch this now.
Yeah. It's definitely theater worthy versus like wait till it comes on a streaming service worthy.
Yeah.
But like, I mean,
good
on Paramount.
I would have gone to the theater to see that nightmare.
I mean, to be honest, I probably would have gone to the theater either way because I wanted to see something that bad. I've been to some pretty like knowing a movie was going to be bad, but still go to the theater and watch it. I've had a couple of those moments.
Yeah.
All right, Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Hats off to the animators. It does look good.
Good on Paramount. Thank you, Paramount, for listening.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna give a real quick endorsement. Have you guys heard of this game called Ping Pong? It's
you have me already. I don't know what it is.
Ping pong.
But I'm
you
sold.
set up a table.
And
you take like
physical
a little.
Ping pong.
You take like a little golf ball sized ball and you have little paddles and you hit the ball back and forth.
That's incredible.
It's really fucking fun.
That's incredible.
I just set up a ping pong table in my patio and
I love ping pong.
I took because I played a lot. I had a table growing up in high school. There was a gym when we were all in college together. I played a lot in college. And then I just took like a 10-year break from ping pong because there was no ping pong tables near me.
That's a mistake.
And now I set it up again and I'm like rediscovering ping pong and how much fucking fun it is.
Absolutely.
So I am heartily endorsing playing ping pong.
Okay.
It's really fun.
I second that endorsement.
I third it because I also grew up with ping pong. So yeah.
Table tennis is a fantastic sport.
Yeah. And there's fun games you can make around it too.
Did you guys see that? There's a video that went viral recently of two. They look like they're probably like 10 years old, and they have this incredible rally in table tennis. Like it's like unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'll share with you guys.
Okay,
Sorry,
I will secondary endorsement. I'm going to endorse a YouTube channel called Pongfinity.
Oh Jesus!
Which is spelled exactly the way you think it's spelled. Pongfinity. It's they have trick shot videos. There's like two guys that are like way too good at ping pong, right. And they just do trick shots. Like, to give an example, like one guy will blow a bubble, and then the other guy has to like hit the like no table. He's just like, I don't know, maybe 20 yards away, and he just takes the ball and like overhand slams it and like hits the bubble. It's I don't know. So there's like weird trick shots like that. There's like weird ones where they like bounce it off the wall 20 times and land it in like a solo cup.
I often question.
There's ones where they like curve it around the net. Anyway, yeah, it's incredible.
I often question like if some of those videos though are like they do that like 50 times before they actually got it, and then like just post.
I'm sure that's exactly what's happening, but it's impressive nonetheless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, even the fact that they hit it once, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I had been hearing about this show. It's an Amazon Prime original, and I've been interested in seeing an Amazon Prime show because they're doing the Wheel of Time. They're filming it right now. It's coming out hopefully next year or something. But so I've been trying to check out other stuff on there, and there's a show on there called The Boys, which sounds stupid. It's kind of like what is that about? It is a very interesting show. I think I'm mostly superheroed out at this point. Like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and like they've done a lot of different superhero stuff. This is probably, if you're going to watch one last superhero series, it needs to be this show. Like, I get you. Superheroes are being overdone. Watch the first fucking episode of this show and tell me you're not hooked immediately for the remainder of the 10 episode series.
From the Boys.
Yeah, The Boys. Check out The Boys. If you have Amazon Prime, you should be able to stream it on Prime Video. Literally, I was hooked in the first episode, which is rare, I think, these days. Sometimes, like, these shows, people are like, oh, this show's great. You got to give it like half a season before you really enjoy it. No, this show is phenomenal, and it really kind of gives this whole idea of what if superheroes were so powerful that they felt above the laws of man, I guess, and which they kind of are because they're superheroes.
Yeah,
but it's like kind of like that kind of Who Watches the Watchmen sort of vibe, you know. So but it's also like rated R, so there's everything that you would expect in a Game of Thrones episode, but with superheroes. So it's fantastic. It's got a lot of really good reviews online, but I just never really took the time to watch it because I was like, superheroes. But really, really, you should really consider watching The Boys.
All right, The Boys.
The Boys. All
right. Let's do some housekeeping. First of all, if you have any questions for us, or if you have any games you'd like to hear us talk about or ideas for our show, please email us at goodgamescast@gmail.com. Also, we are planning on starting a Patreon soon. Hopefully it'll be open and operating at time of recording. I have no idea. And we don't even have the contact information for this setup yet. But
I mean, as of this point, I'm like halfway through creating it, and I think it's going to be called the Good Games Podcast Patreon page.
Hey, all right.
That's long.
I mean, it's just Good Games Podcast. Just find us on Patreon. Like, it's the same name.
All right. Yes. And also, I was going to endorse, if you'd like to see some more of myself and Justin, check out Mean Stream Machine on YouTube. Yes. That is just Justin, myself, and my friend Zach. We're all just playing video games and being assholes. If you want to watch us play video games and be assholes.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. What else? Our next episode is going to be on the strategy sim building game, Factorio.
Yeah.
And
Automation simulator?
Yeah, there you go. That's a very good way to describe that game.
Sure.
Automation simulator. And our top 5 simulator games. I think that's it. That's a show, right, guys?
I think so. I think we'll have one very happy fan to hear about Factorio happening next.
Yeah. Well, I know a couple people that are like way into. Here's the thing, like either there's types of people like you've either never heard of Factorio or like you've heard of it and like you're not into those types of games,
right?
Or you have logged like 100 hours of Factorio. Like there's only 3 types of people.
I was the first type of person, and then I became the third type of person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've only watched someone else play it. You in particular, James.
You can't watch that game though and think like, oh yeah, that looks fun.
Like, I looked at that game and I was like, what the hell is going on?
You're like, no thanks. But if you try it, you'll be sucked in and you won't be able to stop.
Okay.
All right. So look forward to our Factorio episode. But for now, that's a show. So for the Good Games Podcast, I'm James.
I'm Leo.
And I'm Justin.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See ya.
Goodbye. Bop 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 ba da ba da ba da ba.